still on essentials of life. And today's topic is spiritual empowerment.
Yes.
And when we talk about empowerment, you usually think about authority, power, but it really means confident in controlling one's life and claiming our rights. And what do we mean by that? So spiritual empowerment means fulfilling our pathway and returning to the source. And each of us has to go that destination. Everyone. Everybody is on that journey. And some get lost on the way. That's all. And some take side trips and then forget about it. And just as we have roadmaps to get our physical destination, the spiritual journey also has roadmaps. But each individual has their own roadmaps. But there are some essentials that are common for all. But no pathway is the same for anyone else. And if somebody is trying to tell you, this is the way to go, beware. It's not. Each one is a very beautiful individual. And each individual has their own pathway. Okay? And if I say to you, fulfill your purpose, we begin to think that our purpose is outside of ourselves. No, we need to turn inward. The most important thing is to turn inward, because our purpose lives inside of us, not out there. Has nothing to do with out there. But that's the problem. Everybody is looking outside. People are not looking inside. We are here to experience the world in the most dynamic, wonderful, exquisite way. But it comes from inside of us to begin with. Okay? And what we have done is that inside of us that wants to experience it in that passionate way, we have stifled because we've had responsibilities, this, that, and so forth, and we didn't feel empowered to explore who we really are. Okay? And that feeling or subtle undercurrent that tries to be acknowledged of who we really are makes us miserable. Okay? That artist or that caretaker, that scientist, that protector, or anyone, whatever is your real desire in life, cries to be released. And if it isn't, we get frustrated. So we need to go inside and find what is in there. Some of us live our entire life not knowing and being frustrated. And such a crime, because that's not what God intended. That is not what your life is supposed to be like. Your life is supposed to be full of joy, love, light. It's only when we suppress the life that we have a problem. Only when we suppress ourselves, we have a problem. That's like taking a rose and not allowing it to bloom. And keeping it closed. The rose is there waiting, but we don't allow it to bloom. It's so important to bloom. But that's what the problem is with lack of self-empowerment. Spiritual self-empowerment. When we turn in, what are you doing? You're accessing your soul self, your higher self. Okay? And we begin to unlock the frequency patterns for our levels of consciousness. And we have many levels of consciousness. We're just not in one level. Okay. Whatever we're ready for, we will jump into that level. And in that level of consciousness are stored our light packets of wisdom. They're stored there. They're waiting to be opened up. They're waiting to bloom. Our light packets of wisdom are right there, but they're inside of us, not outside of us. Okay. And those light packets will lift us. It is time for us to lift our unconsciousness and remember who we really are. We're running around like mummies. Okay. It is our birthright to live in abundance, prosperity. We've just forgotten. We have just forgotten. Once we learn that we are worthy, we need to learn the skills and let us seek abundance of love, joy, good health, vitality, as well as the things that make us comfortable in life. That's what we call abundance. Okay. Love, joy, good health and vitality, and enough to eat, enough to sleep. Yeah, that's what we're. Once we have access and created those miracles, because those are miracles, we call them miracles because everybody thinks that life should be difficult. Yes, it's difficult, but when you have love and when you have joy, the difficulty doesn't seem so difficult. When you have those things inside of you, then you can handle the outside things that are difficult. And then once we have that, then it becomes our duty to share it, to share that knowledge with others. We will then begin to be light bearers. We begin to teach by our example. If you're full of joy and if you're full of love, people want to know why. And yet you are experiencing outside circumstances that are not necessarily full of joy or love. People want to know why. And you have to tell, and that is what you need to then share. And you become a beacon. You become a lighthouse for others. And it becomes contagious. It's absolutely wonderful. And that's who we really are. This is what we call spiritual empowerment. And it's so important. Okay? We have carried within us, through centuries, memories of suppression, feeling of guilt, feeling of betrayal. And we have also in this lifetime put our wishes aside for the benefit of others. Our desire to serve, which is all and within everybody. The desire to serve is within everybody. But sometimes we serve and we put our needs behind. Yeah.
First, we need to serve us.
Yeah. Our desire to serve has put us in a subservient position. With other words, you lost your self-empowerment. Yeah. And how do we do that? We balance our empathic nature by validating our own self-worth. We don't need to sacrifice ourselves to serve others. As a matter of fact, we can't really serve others if we do that. You can only serve what you have. You can only give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. Remember that. And service is our duty. Okay? So what is your major task is to fill ourselves with our unconditional love of our own God self. Everybody's looking to love God out there. Love God in here. Love God in you. Love God in everyone. Don't look at loving God out there outside of yourself, because God resides within you as well. That God self within you. And when you look at that, you begin to grow in spiritual and self-empowerment. Not ego empowerment. Spiritual self-empowerment. Big difference. Big difference. And then we begin to realize how we have to set boundaries so that we're not taken advantage of, so that we can give. And then we learn to speak our truths lovingly. Lovingly. And remember, we can only change ourselves. We can be a lighthouse, but we cannot change others. We can only set an example. That's why you need to know where the boundaries need to be. Okay. So it's very important. And as we begin to radiate a sense of peace, power, and compassion, others will want to know. And we then begin to withdraw our energies of neediness, which we have imposed on others. And then what happens? Some people will find that well and find it for their benefit. Others won't be able to play that game of life or that drama of life, and they will walk away from you. And you'll be okay with that. Okay? Remember, you cannot change other people. And if they need to walk away because you will not play their games anymore, it's okay. This is why you need to know the boundaries. But the boundaries have to be the right boundaries. And you still have to give, but from a self-empowered point of view, from a love light. And what will also happen, that things that used to bring us pleasure we no longer need. They don't satisfy us. We may lose common interest with friends. Yes, it's okay. Our soul selves are nudging us to expand our vision. Our soul self is constantly nudging us if we listen. And you can only listen if you turn inside. You are never left alone. Your God self, your soul self is always with you. It's always nudging you to go in the right direction. All you have to do is listen. But we don't, because we're so distracted from the outside. It is so important to go inside. We are co-creators. We can create pain, suffering, limitation, or we can create joy, love, peace, abundance. The choice is ours. What would you choose?
Abundance.
Can you go inside, or are you afraid to find the devil in there?
I found him a long time ago.
No, there is no devil. If we do not feel confident that we can fulfill our innermost desires and needs, we begin to search for objects. This is the problem. Yeah, we begin to search for people to find what we are missing within us. Because there's a lack, there's a hole. We need to fulfill it. Either we go inside and fulfill it with love and light of our divine essence, or we try to get things outside. If I have that house, I'll be happy. If I have that car, I'll be happy. If I have that person, marry that person, I'll be happy. And then they turn, and those are all temporary. They will not fulfill your needs. That can change tomorrow. Every single person has a divine mission, or dharma we call it, that nags at you, nags at your soul if not fulfilled. Everyone has a purpose in life. As every part, and I use this all the time, every part of your car motor needs to be there for it to run smoothly. Take one part away and it doesn't run smoothly. Well, this world isn't running smoothly, is it? But if everybody was doing their dharma, it would run very smooth. How do you get a beautiful world? By fulfilling our spiritual empowerment and doing what we need to be doing to fulfill our dharma, to fulfill our mission. Everyone came with a person. When we give unconditional love and serve humanity with our very special gifts, everybody has a special gifts, we begin to bring down divine energy. Personally, you cannot give unconditional love. Are you aware of that? No. Unconditional love has to come from your higher self, from your soul self, and channel through you. And it comes through the crown chakra. I've mentioned it many times, and comes out the heart center. Conditional love, which Mataji calls business, we can give. We can open the heart to a certain degree and give that kind of love, but it's conditioned. And if you don't fulfill the condition, I unlove you. That's called divorce. Okay? So, the higher soul self sends love, light, energy through our crown chakra so that we can unconditionally love. Now, wouldn't you love that soul self to be flowing through you? Can you think of something more beautiful than that? When you open your heart and give unconditional love, know that your divine energy is flowing through you. Know that. You have experienced it if you ever had children. When the baby is born, you give that unconditional love and you feel the joy, even though it's just pooped into your face. Yeah. Because it didn't matter at that time. The love was there. That's the joy. That's the beauty of our life. And we have been given these wonderful gifts, and we don't use them because we don't feel spiritually empowered. Because people have tried to control us. Organizations have tried to control us. They've stripped us of our empowerment. No, it is time to take it back. Don't let anyone strip you of your spiritual empowerment. Okay. Empowerment comes when we allow a love, light, through us to tap into the diamond core God cell. What is in our heart? What is that diamond core God cell that resides in every single individual? It's inside of us. Well, it contains the rays of creator consciousness, all the virtues, qualities, and attributes of our God self. It's right in there. You have it within you. Not something that you gather, not something that you get. It's something that you unfold. It's something that rises from you, that comes from you once you have that spiritual empowerment. It is just like a rose has to be a rose. The same way you have to be that spiritual being. Sooner or later, You might wait a few lifetimes, but you're going to have to be it sooner or later. You cannot escape it. It's in there. It has to be explored. You can suppress it. You can hold it back, but it is in there. It must come out in the future. It is everybody's journey is the same in that respect, that their inner beauty must come out. Their soul self beauty must come out. Okay? And that diamond core God cell can only be ignited with love, and it can only be used for the greatest benefit of all. Those are the conditions. You can't ignite it for yourself. You have to be able to use it for the greatest benefit of all. And did you know that you as an individual are here for the greatest benefit of all? You're here for that. Not for yourself only. You're supposed to enjoy the process, but you're here for the greatest benefit of all. You're that one peg in the motor that makes it run smooth. Yeah. At this present moment, in this present time, we have been given more energy, more prana, more everything, so that our God cell is being activated more fully. The first time in the history of this planet, and you're right here, part of the planet, we are given more. And it's more important now that you go inside and find that person that needs to serve humanity. Let your radiance pour forth onto the world and affect those that are receptive. Let it happen. Remember, once you open up, you will be serving. May our bodies be divine instruments. It doesn't mean picking. It means opening up and radiating that energy, that God energy out. Once you are full of love and joy, and you love everybody, and there is no hate, no fear, no nothing within you, people are going to see that. They're going to feel it. You feel it. You can feel another being. If somebody comes at you with ill intentions, you can feel it. If somebody comes at you with love, you can feel it. Even animals can feel it. No animal will hurt a person that has that open heart. St. Francis of Assisi is the number one for that. All animals came because he had an open heart and love and light of the divine self within him. Nothing will hurt us. Life will still be difficult, but nothing will hurt us. When we are aligned with our highest destiny for the greatest good of all, you will radiate divine love light. It's automatic. And look at the saints, and how did we picture the saints? We put a halo around them because they radiated love light. Yeah. And it is everybody's destiny sooner or later. Might as well go for it sooner. Might as well hurry up and get to it. Hey, we become the lighthouses for others and create abundance in our own lives. Let us move inward, tap into that love light that is within each and every individual. Remember, it's within each and every individual. Even though they might be the demon that you could see, but it's in there anyway. No one is the demon. It's all in there. Your God self, your soul self, your God self, your Holy Ghost is within you. Okay. Let us remember that prosperity is your birthright. Remember that. And if you don't have it, let us remember that we have wonderful gifts that we brought with us to share in this world. Let us experience this word with a heartfelt passion and create heaven on earth. Got that? God bless you. And I'll home you home. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.